Here's another version of a cupcake topper for you. You're going to roll out some red fondant, and once you've cut it out and the fondant is still wet, you're going to use a tip. It's a number 9 to cut the little circle, and then I use a rose petal tip and I push it in. I guide myself right above the circle, and then it creates that keyhole. Then you cut another black heart, and when you place the red one on top of the black one, it'll give you the darkness like it's an actual locket. So with a little bit of icing, you glue this heart on top. Now I'm going to show you how to decorate that heart to make that locket look. With a 1.5 tip, I'm going to decorate. So here I'm just going to outline the keyhole. So just simple outline around. So here you can just wipe that off with the tip. Now you place yourself in the spot, squeeze your dot, leave your tip in the dot, and then drag up and it'll create like a tear shape. Make your dot, push, leave it in. You're not squeezing out any more icing, but your icing tip will create that drag. So see, push it in, make a dot here, push it, leave it in, stop squeezing the icing, and then drag it around and it'll create that swirl. Make your dot, leave your tip in, push, and the last one here. Now this kind of gives it that locket look. Once it's dry, you can come back with luster dust and paint the white icing gold. You can also pigment the icing yellow so that when you come back with the luster dust, it is gives it more of an intense color. Ready now for the finishing touches of the locket cupcake topper. I've got my handy gold luster dust. I'm just with an eyedropper putting a little bit of vodka in the cap of my luster dust, and I'm going to be ready to paint. These are nice and dry. Let them dry overnight. I'm going to take my brush. Now you have to figure out what works for you. I like a long bristles but narrow, and then when you wet it, it kind of holds together. You can have a napkin handy to kind of test it first to see, and slowly, here I can zoom in for you to see. I'm just quickly, doesn't have to be perfect, especially since your base color is red. It's pretty forgiving. If you get it on, it won't show that much. This would have actually worked better had I used already colored icing as a base coat. It would make the luster dust look more intense, give it more shine. I buy Aztec gold. I find it's a little bit deeper in color than just regular gold. It looks a little bit richer. And there we go. And I'm going, if you want, you can dip it in the dry luster dust and then go over, and since it's wet, the dry particles will adhere to the wet and give it like a second coat of gold. We're going to finish off the locket cupcake toppers. So they've been painted with the gold luster dust. I airbrushed them in pearl. I guess they'd be fine if you wanted to use them as is on a cupcake, but I'm going to put it on a black heart just to fill in the back so you can see the darkness there. So all you're going to need is some icing. Doesn't really matter what color. I've got white here, so that's what I'm going to use. I guess it would be better to use red. Don't have any. We're using this. So I'm just doing a little cementing back here so that it adheres onto the black, and sandwiching the two together. And you see here the icing is not oozing out, so you don't even see it, and it just fills in the inside and it looks more finished in my